Okay, so let's check mic 212 once again. Cool. So yeah, greetings everyone. Please type 1 in the chat box if you can hear my voice perfectly and you can see the picture. I'm right now sharing the Bitsgap main page. No, actually the trading page and the trading view. Just make sure that's all good. Yeah, cool. So once again, greetings everyone. I'm glad to see you all, and today that's going to be the first time QA session ever in that kind of format, because before we had webcast, and at the end of each webcast we had a series of QA. So basically I selected your top questions, and based on if they were interesting or not, then I decided to select the top ones. So this time I decided just to dedicate this whole webcast just to your questions, the questions that we received throughout this week, and the questions that we actually took into account like way long time ago. Maybe like a month ago, we started to collect top questions with regards to the automated trading at Bitsgap, the smart trading at Bitsgap, the portfolio management, and of course, like the vast majority of you are interested in the future of Bitsgap, the tools that we are working on right now, and basically, this is like today's QA session is going to be about mostly dedicated to the questions like when is the mobile app, and what about the reinvestment feature implemented in bots, and things like the trading down. So I have these answers for you today, so fasten your seatbelts as I'm about to start. So I'm gonna start with the first question. Let me just open real quick my note here. So yeah, the first question was about the mobile app, and this is something that we are working on right now, and it's gonna be implemented for sure. As of now, like as of today, you can still use Bitsgap on your mobile app. I mean on your mobile device, sorry. So it's just that you need to open the web browser, and you can use robots, you can trade in the smart trade mode via the browser. And let me real quick show you how to do this exactly. Like I'm gonna open right now the mobile device interface. So on your mobile it's gonna look like this exactly. So let's say I go to trading, so you will see this kind of interface. You see, no glitches or whatsoever, perfectly tuned, and you can switch your accounts, you can open limit orders, you can also use stop limit orders, like all the features that we have developed so far for the desktop version. It's also functional on the mobile web browser. So this is how it looks on the mobile device as of now. So the reason why mobile app is not yet in the App Store or the Marketplace, I don't know, is it the Play Market on the Android? I don't actually remember, but anyway, for the Android, for the Apple, I mean, it really takes time and dedication, stress testing all the features to make sure that the yeah, like the quality is waterproof resistant, and everything is tuned well. It just really takes time, because it makes really no sense to release the mobile app if we're still unsure if it's like perfectly tuned. So by the time we make sure that everything is perfect there, we will release the mobile app. But as of today, you can still basically use the mobile version, which is through the mobile web browsers that you're using. This can be the Brave browser, the Safari, if that's the Apple for you. Then, I mean, basically each website, sorry, the web browser. So the next question was about the reinvestment feature. So this feature is partially already implemented, and let's go back to the desktop mode. Let me close this thing. So the reinvestment feature is once again partially already implemented in the classic bot. So if you remember the algorithm of the classic bot, then you know that as the price climbs, basically the price appreciates, then you remember that the classic bot always buys and sells the same amount of coins. So whenever 10 coins now costs you $200, or whenever these 10 coins now cost you $300, the bot will spend $300. If it now costs less, then it will spend $200, for example, which is not the case for the AsBot, where in the AsBot, regardless of the price, it will always spend the same investment value. So let's say per each grid level, it will always buy and sell coins worth $100, right? So it's pretty much that way that in the classic bot, you will see that at some point it may take extra funds, like out of the scope of the balance you allocated to the bot, right? Where you actually see this here in the value column. That's the investment you allocated to the bot, right? But in the case of the classic bot, sometimes it can be that there's insufficient funds, and it will need to take some extra out of your available balance, right? So, and basically the portion of this available balance consists of the profit which was generated by the bot. So that's pretty much a partial implementation of the profit reinvestment, but not in its purest way, but still, I mean, this is what you can see in the classic bot. That's why I always say that on the rising market, it really makes sense to stick with the classic bot, because the classic bot can generate you substantially bigger returns, because as the price appreciates, the bot basically increases your risk exposure to the base currency that you are trading. So for example, in this one, that's the poly, the base currency. So you use your Bitcoin to buy more polys, and that's the case for the classic bot. But just like, I mean, forget about the classic bot. If we just talk about the reinvestment feature, then that's something that we are working on as well. Like, for example, most likely you will be able to decide the percentage you want to allocate for future reinvestments. Like, for example, the bot has generated you, let's say, $100, and you can choose whether to allocate 20% out of this profit generated, more or less. So that's going to be up to you. So this is something that is still in the process of the second iteration. So that, like, the first iteration was like 3 months ago, then we discussed this reinvestment feature as we were about to release the combo bot. So the second iteration was pretty much recently, and we discussed these more in-depth and concrete features to be implemented in the reinvestment. So basically you could decide the percentage you want to reinvest, how many times, like you can reinvest what you reinvested, like the profit you generated from the reinvestment can be also reinvested. I mean, there are many things to be taken into account, so that's something that we are working on right now as well. So let's see, like the third question was about the demo mode for the combo bot. I mean, yeah, like each webcast, I'm telling you that that's a big thing. I mean, futures trading is pretty much a different market with its own rules, with its own risk to return metrics, with its own well, risk projections and things to be taken into account when you basically estimate the return and risk potential. So in that sense, it's a bit, I mean, it takes a bit more time implementing the demo mode when compared with the spot market, on which we have the SBot and the classic bot, right? But that's something that is gonna be for the futures bot. Maybe let's switch to the futures bot real quick. So here it is. So as of now, you have the backtest feature, using which you can actually see the performance of the bot that it would have generated if you launched it back then at some point of time in the past, let's say 2 weeks ago, a week ago. So you can at least use the backtest to get some numbers and to use these numbers for future projections. I mean, those numbers from the historical prices, they do not guarantee you future results, of course, but at least you can use this data as a sort of the benchmark for your analysis, right? So you can conduct multiple research tasks based on this backtest tool, and you can collect this data whether you're using, let's say, the Google Excel, whatever. So you can actually monitor all cryptocurrencies that are trading. Well, right now I'm on the Binance futures market, right? So that's how many pairs they have. So you can backtest them. You can and you can write down the results to monitor the activity and to figure out what is the average, what's the mean, what's the median return. I mean, there are plenty of things you can do just with this backtest tool. It's a huge potential here. I mean, just grab this data and use it to figure out which cryptocurrency pair suits you the most, and which one brings you the most on the rising market and which one brings you less. I mean, lots of things to be taken into account. But that's something that we are working on right now. You will have this demo mode where you can trade in a risk-free trade mode, basically using your virtual money, like on the spot market here. For those of you who don't know, we have it for the SBot and the classic bot. And you see right now I'm in the demo mode where I have like 400 USD in virtual money. So that means that I can use this virtual money to simulate the trading using the real data from the market. So this is pretty much your sandbox where you can play with different strategies until you find out your ultimate combination that brings you the most out of the market. So that's a pretty cool thing that I actually haven't seen on other platforms. Doing it that way, that transparency and integrity is something that you can really find only on Bitsgap, and that's a very cool thing. You don't need to risk your real money. It's just that take your time, use the virtual money, and play with as many configurations you can come up with using this simple configuration dashboard here that we have. Like, it really takes just 3 clicks for you to come up with the configuration that you want to trade, and you can experiment with as many as you want until you find your ultimate solution. And you can actually compare configurations with one another on one cryptocurrency. Like, for example, Bitcoin trading to USDT is pretty much the same as Bitcoin trading to USDC, right? So you can launch one bot on this one trading to USDC stablecoin. You can launch another one on the USDT, right? Like pretty much simultaneously, and to see the performance in parallel to compare. So that's the thing you can do in the demo mode in Breathe. But yeah, that's the feature you will have on the combo bot. It's just that I'm not telling you the exact date because it's not something that I'm comfortable and actually saying because it's not yet really defined. It's just that we are working on that, so expect that in the future. So the next question was about, again, with regards to the current development, and that's the question about the trailing down feature. So about the trailing down, the thing is that this feature is in the active phase of the testing and development. So here I can tell you like for sure that it's gonna be implemented like by 99.9% it's gonna be, because we collected your feedback, and I actually heard many times people asking for the trailing down. And I even got one video from a guy, I don't actually remember his name, but he literally recorded the video and sent it to us, just asking for the trailing down and explaining how this trailing down feature would benefit all traders. So that's the feature that we are working on, and it's just that it needs to be tested to make sure that it is perfectly optimized, and that there are no glitches in the system, and that from the risk management perspective, that's a useful tool for traders of all levels. And we are also thinking of whether or not to enable it in the beginner plan or the pro plan. So it's just that there are still some minor things to be figured out before the final iteration, but that's something that we are working on right now, and it's gonna be for sure like 99.9%. That's what I give you here. Let's see, what else do we have? The questions out there. Yeah, so the quality is good. Let's continue. So there was a question about the yeah, well, some minor questions like asking for the support of some exchanges that are not well known, but they are still there on the market. So there are people asking to integrate some more exchanges that I can't tell you what are the exact exchanges that we will integrate, but you can actually notice that we support a lot of exchanges as of today. So let me actually check in the real account mode, my exchanges, add new exchange. So you see that many exchanges, I mean, and you can see quite many are reputable, credible exchanges, like well known. Some are those that have lower liquidity, but still here you can trade them. It's just that we have a robust infrastructure of, like, let's say, due diligence process where we analyze exchanges out there to make sure that we can work with them and that they comply with the regulation, all that QIC and all that stuff, just to make sure that well, some not QIC. I mean the thing about the exchanges is that there are lots of things to be taken into account before you integrate them, because that's the reputation concern here as well, because we need to make sure that we enable trading on those exchanges that we would use as well and are using. So that's why it's a step-by-step process. It takes several iterations before we decide which exchange to implement, which not. So that's the thing. And of course, we need to test those exchanges whether or not they are capable of executing that amount of orders that we send them. Like, for example, you see my bots here right now, and the one that has been trading for me like for 1 month, it has already made like 1186 trades so far, and that's actually not my record. Like, I remember I had the bot that made like 10,000 trades in just 20 days. So the thing is that not every exchange can handle that many trades coming as an input to the exchange to be executed. Imagine, I mean, I'm the one here, right? But imagine hundreds of such accounts where you have bots trading 10,000 orders per like 20 days or something. That's heck of a lot orders actually. So that's why we need to really make sure that in the API gateway the exchange can handle that many orders. And actually sometimes you may notice that even Binance cannot handle the pressure when the market is falling drastically or rising heavily. You can see that sometimes they go on the maintenance, like unexpected maintenance and whatsoever, and they cannot sometimes handle that many orders, right? So on our side everything works perfectly. It's just that sometimes in case of the exchanges they are a bit glitching depending on the workload. So that's why that's a really thorough due diligence when it comes to adding new exchanges to Bitsgap. Let's see what else we have. So some been asking about implementing the ASBot from the spot market, this one, the ASBot, to be integrated into the futures market trading. So in futures market now we have the combo bot, but some been asking to add the ASBot. The thing about the ASBot on the futures market is that it's a completely different story. So that's why the combo bot is basically the combination of the experience and patterns that we took from the classic and the ASBot, plus added some other features that are functional on the futures market but are not perfect for the spot market. So the combo bot, basically that's why it's called the combo bot, because it's a combination of different algorithms. So basically you can say that the combo bot has inherited some features from the ASBot as well. And of course we are working on other products like the combo bot for the futures market. It's just that once again, yeah, it's just that on the futures market there are more inputs, like the risk, profitability, and of course the volatility to be taken into account when developing these bots. I mean, you can't even imagine what it takes to implement just one bot so that it's a perfect solution for traders and portfolio managers of all levels. I mean, it's not that easy to implement the bot, which would be easygoing and how to say, understandable, like at first glance. I mean, it really takes time and lots of inputs to be taken into account, and of course lots of stress tests before we can see that yes, that's the bot that we've wanted to see, and the performance in the short term and mid term, they exceed our expectations, or at least match our expectations, right? So lots of things to be tested, but I'm telling you that of course the combo bot is not the only one that we have for the futures market. I mean, The time-tested combo bot is the vital input for the next bot, because we take strengths and weaknesses of the current version of the combo bot, so that we could of course improve the combo bot. So you could see the combo bot second iteration, and of course taking that experience to come up with even better, or with the algorithms that are designed for completely different stories on the futures market. So that's the thing about the development of automated algorithms in the cryptocurrency market. But yeah, long story short, that's something that we are working on right now. So I mean, expect to see new features. And again, I'm not telling you the exact date, because otherwise it would be really hard to meet these dates, because sometimes during the stress test you can see that some features require more time to be tested further. Because the thing about the Bitsgap is that we are chasing the quality, and let's say if for the rest implementing this feature would take, let's say, 3 months, but with glitches and some side effects, for us, we always make sure that the quality is the first priority, and that the product is by 100% is ready for the community. And if it takes us like 4 months instead of 3 months, we will take this 4 months, but to make sure that the quality is perfect and that you guys can get the utmost experience out of trading these new products. I mean, that's the key rationale that we are all following here at Bitsgap, is that the quality and security is of course the first priority here. Let me check your questions real quick. Yeah, well, as of the arbitrage tab, like honestly, few developments. This product is in the deep development stage, and it's been a long time basically since the last time we had any big updates here. But of course we do not forget about the arbitrage. It's just that due to current market demand, I would say, due to your feedback and the products that you guys are using, we see that the first priority is of course smart trading with automated bots, the portfolio management section, exchanges integration. So the arbitrage is the second priority in that case, because as the market evolves, basically it becomes a bit more efficient. In that sense, there are fewer arbitrage opportunities out there. If there are these arbitrage opportunities, there are big name companies and teams that have arbitrage bots and systems to capture this momentum. So that's why we see that the arbitrage is still a good product, but it's just that the first priority is right now our automated bots, because this is where we are really strong at, and the smart trading mode. As of the arbitrage, this product is here, and of course you will see some updates to take advantage of the arbitrage opportunities on the market. It's just that we have lots of things right now to be implemented, and the arbitrage is not the first priority, to be honest, but we are working on that as well, just to let you know. Let's see, what else do we have? I can see Daofi telling me that he's the software developer and the quality is first. Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I said. let me check some live questions that we might have here. Yeah, I see you guys discussing the trading down, but as I said, that's the feature you will see for sure. I'm not telling you that's going to be tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, but that's the first priority task right now. It's in the list of first priority, basically, in the echelon of the first priority. And yeah, also we got questions like, what are the tools that you can use? Like the indicators, like the technical analysis tools, together with the automated bots to see, like to support the best entry and best exit market timing. So, as mentioned on previous webcasts, there are lots of tools, of course, out there, and like 95% of them, no, actually 90% around, from the traditional market, like things like the moving average, the RSI stochastic, I mean, lots of tools. Like if I go to the trading view right now, like right now I have two YEMA, which is exponential moving averages, telling me about the strength or weakness of the trend. I'm also using things like the volume profile, which tells me at which price we had the most interest, and in most cases where we see the most volume being traded, this is where we can see the support or resistance emerge. So this is also a very valuable tool that I'm using, because the thing about the market is that you really need to understand the psychology, and there are tools that can tell you about this psychology. It's of course, I mean, they name these tools as prediction tools, but I wouldn't say so, of course. It's just that these are the tools that we can use to analyze the past, to spot some interesting patterns, and the more tools you find that can identify you these valuable patterns, the better. So if like, it's the thing about the indicators is that there are so many indicators. It's just that it really takes time for you to figure out your own ultimate combination that you want to use, and the combination that gives you more kind of the insights and gives you more patterns from the market that you can spot and trade. Like for example, I gave you things like the VU charts. So that's the guy from Twitter. He's been publishing lots of valuable stuff back in 2017, if I recall. And as of today, he's like one of those who makes interesting charts based on the on-chain blockchain data that you can get from the Glassnode, like from the Etherscan. Like there are many public data you can use, and he's the one who can really come up with interesting charts. But of course, they don't predict you. It's just that you can use them to spot some interesting patterns, like, for example, the Bitcoin NVT, which tells you basically what is the real price of Bitcoin based on the network activity and the investment flow. And according to this one, the real price of Bitcoin right now should be at 53,000. So that means that we are now trading below that benchmark. And you can see cases when we traded below this NVT price, and then the price came back in any case. So you see, that's the thing that you can use, and you can find other tools, not just the VU charts that I'm showing you. It's just that these are the tools that I'm using, and they can really tell me the story sometimes with other tools that I'm also using from the Glassnode and in the indicators on the trading view, and of course those indicators that are available at Bitsgap, because it's really it's really convenient to analyze the chart using the tools from the trading view and to simultaneously launch some trades. So it really saves time. But sometimes it's just that I need some extra tools which are not yet available at Bitsgap, and that these are the tools that you can find on TradingView. So that's why sometimes I use both the TradingView and the Bitsgap. I mean, I'm not promoting the TradingView or whatsoever. It's not even beneficial for me to promote the TradingView. It's just that I'm telling you, like, I'm showing you my approach. And the best way is to integrate as many tools that really tell you this story. And if you have all these tools here at Bitsgap on this dashboard layout, then it's perfect, because that way you can simultaneously conduct the analysis, and you can also set some trades, just an all-in-one platform. That's the purpose of the Bitsgap. To analyze, to trade, to monitor on one platform, and that's the Bitsgap. So let's go back to the questions that we have here. And actually, it's really hot here. It's like 36 degrees or something, and I mean, it's really hard for me to be extremely enthusiastic about the things that I'm showing you, because it's really hard when you are in the hot area like I am right now. So yeah, I guess I'm not the only one. I mean, an extreme hot season this summer, so I guess you understand me. So yes, the thing about the blog is that those things that you see in blog, and let's actually go real quick to Bitsgap. There are lots of things that you can use, like the MA, for example, the one you just mentioned in the chat, and other tools like the order flow, which can tell you where right now is the most volume and at which price. So that basically gives you this sentiment of the market, like the expectations of retail traders. And of course you have other tools, like I think I covered here as well the RSI and the hash reborn. The thing about the moving average is that in this article here I grabbed my experience and the things and the key takeaways that I'm using from this exact indicator with the bot. So if you go here, you can see that I'm showing you this tool on the chart where you have automated bots. So whenever you spot some interesting patterns based on the MA crossovers, that can be the time to either close the bot or enter the market. So of course there are other takeaways from the moving average indicator that you can find out there in the internet that are covered even better way, but it's just that here the key takeaways are from my experience when trading automated bots at Bitsgap. So that's the only information you can find, basically the synergy between the MA and the bot trading. And of course you can expect new articles like that in the future. Just stay tuned. I mean, there are lots of stuff here, and it's not limited just to the blog. I mean, subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch previous webcasts and the short series that we have, and new videos are also incoming, so stay tuned. I mean, social networks that we have, lots of data flow, and email as well. By emails we are sending you the digests where you can find valuable information as well. So lots of things to be taken into account, but basically the digest that we recently launched is the ultimate solution to combine all the sources where we bring you new content, whether it be the YouTube new video or the blog in the academy, the blog in the analytics, or in another section here. You can get this updates by email as well, to stay tuned and to get fresh data all the time. Let's see what else we have. Can you make the ComboBot link to API on KuCoin? So the thing about a ComboBot is that right now it's linked only to the Binance futures trading. Is that because again, I mean, remember that 10 minutes ago I mentioned you how exactly we approach this selection of reputable exchanges. And by reputable, I mean those exchanges that can handle that many orders that we send them. And that's heck of a lot orders, like I'm telling you. On the futures market, you can expect sometimes even more order flows compared with the spot market. And taking into account the nature of the futures market, as it has leverage, and that means that you can trade 10x, 20x, that's basically a heck of a lot of money as well. Not just orders, that's a lot of money as well. So not every exchange can handle that, but of course we are looking for more exchanges to be added in futures trading. It's just that we just recently launched the ComboBot. It's been like what, 3 months or something. That's relatively recent event, right? So of course you will see more exchanges where you can trade futures contracts. So I can't say that if it's gonna be KuCoin the next one or any other exchange. It's just that it's gonna be a surprise for you. I don't want to tell you all the story right now, because otherwise it would be not that interesting for you. But as you know, like especially those who've been following Bitsgap and using the products for quite a long time, like 1-2 years, you know where we've been there back in the past, and the success we made so far. So if you compare the website and the products that we had like a year ago with the amount of things that we implemented throughout this past year, that's an insane result and lots of things. So I mean, for sure, you don't need to ask directly to add new exchanges, new products. I mean, of course we will add these products. It's just that, again, that's a step-by-step process which requires a proper due diligence, stress testings, and all that stuff before we add new exchanges, new products. And of course, like the third thing is to take into account your feedback. And by the way, thanks a lot for your questions for this QA session, and thanks a lot for the questions you keep sending me now in the live chat, and thanks a lot for the feedback, because that's very valuable. And I mean, we have a very friendly community, and I'm so glad to be a part of it, because there are so many great ideas from you guys, and we take them into account. Like, for example, this trailing down feature that you are all pushing as a new narrative. I mean, it's been heard, and I mean, that's the first priority now, and it's gonna be like by 100%, it's gonna be there. Just give us some time to implement this feature. So yeah, for those of you who just started trading on Bitsgap, I would recommend, first of all, to watch previous webcasts where I go step by step how to launch bots, how to set different strategies using the smart trading mode, which is this one, using the limit orders and other interesting things like the stop limit and all that stuff. I go step by step explaining the difference between the as bot and the classic bot, and what are the best scenarios for you to launch these bots, and what are the exact numbers to be used. Like, for example, when you set the grid step, like for example for me that's the range from 0.7 up to 1.4 or something, 1.5, yeah, around this area. So lots of insights based on my experience and based on the experience of some other close traders of mine from Bitsgap, who are also involved in the development of future products. So lots of inputs. And of course, do not risk your real money if you are not sure about the product yet. If you're not sure about whether or not you fully understand the capabilities of this product, use the demo mode, because in the demo mode you have nothing to lose except time. But in that case, by spending time configuring different bots with like using virtual money, that's an experience in any case. You spend your time, but in return you get this valuable information, and you ultimately find the exact solution you've been looking for, the exact configuration that suits you the most, like based on your balance available, exchanges that you are using, your mid-term, short-term, and long-term expectations from the market. So there are lots of things, and you can stress test many coins in the backtest mode to see whether or not you want to trade this cryptocurrency pair, and to see whether or not you are satisfied with the results. And by the way, I recommend you to use the backtest mode in the real account mode, like where you have real money. Whereas in the demo mode, I recommend you just to stick with the experiments, like with regards to the different configurations on different exchanges, simultaneously launching different bots and all that stuff, analyzing your past results to see where you failed, or to see the bots that made you made you the most returns. I mean, it's here. Like if I open my, no, it's not actually not on this account, so I cannot actually show you my past results here, but that's the only one in the demo mode that I have here for this period. But I can select another period, maybe this one, and you can see more results that I have. You see, invested totally 51,000, so the total return of 16,000. That's a good result. Even though that's the demo mode trade, still you can take this data, you can grab it to analyze, to see what are your winning strategies and what are the reasons for some failed trades, and what are the combinations that made you the most. Like for example this one, let's say the grid step. You see, it's exactly from the minimum range that I always select, which is 0.7%. So that's the first thing that I figure out for myself, is that I analyzed my past trades to see what's the grid step I used that actually generated me that many for a short period of time. Like for 2 months making 135%, that's heck of a lot. Yeah, so lots of things to be taken into account. And as an example, I always say the grid step is one of the things that you can compare on different strategies to see what is the optimal grid step that can bring you like 30% per month or even more sometimes. So yeah, I mean, lots of things to do even in the demo mode before you risk your real money. So I highly recommend you to start with the demo mode if you feel not enough confident in the products, that you're not sure that you fully understand the capabilities of the products. So before risking your real money, it really makes sense to try them in the demo mode to find your way to the market And once you found your golden strategy, just stick with this golden strategy when trading your real money. That's the like one of the key elements of success. Research and development, risk management, and basically the emotional control. Three major inputs. So we have like 6 minutes more, and yeah, let's check if we have some more interesting questions. Yeah, I see people asking about the mobile app. So yeah, that's the thing that I mentioned at the very beginning of this the QA session, is that's the first priority. I mean, that's the task in the first priority echelon. I would say it that way. So right now you don't have the mobile app, but it's in the process. But even though you can still trade from your mobile device, whether that's the Android or Apple device, you can still do that from your web browser. That's actually the way I do it. So that's how it looks in the mobile app, you see. So pretty much everything you need is here. It's easy to start. You see, just you click on plus, select the strategy, you can switch to another exchange if you need. So I mean, it's fully functional on the mobile devices. It's just that we are still working on the final iteration of the mobile app, so you could get some more features that would be valuable just on the mobile devices than on the desktop version. So there are lots of things to be implemented here as well. But yeah, mobile app incoming for sure. So the thing about the columns here, the total column does not show you negative, it's only positive. Well, the thing about the total profit is that it shows you the profit generated by the bot. And of course, we all want to see information like for example, like honestly, what I lack here is another crucial metric. And this metric is the one that would show me the aggregate return based on all of my active trades. Like as of now, the return you see is basically the return generated by the bot, which is $559, and that's exactly 17% to my total investment, which is here. The thing to be taken here into account is that the total investment fluctuates because some investments are made in Bitcoin. So that's, you know, that the investment itself fluctuates relative to its value in the USD. That's why you can see sometimes that one day your investment is 3,200, the next day it's 3,600, or even like 2,900. It's just that there were so many things to be taken here into account. And as of now, it looks like this, is that the total profit is the profit generated by the bot. But of course, I also stress this out. I mean, not the exact phrase I wanted to use. I mean, the metric that I really want to see is the aggregate investment change. So right now you see I have, for example, minus 26 for this one, and for this one I have 4%, but I don't see the aggregate. Like I don't really know if all my bots summarized whether I am in the profit or loss zone. And that's the thing that I really want to see soon here, but you can actually expect that soon, because even like if I need this tool, like for sure that's the first priority and it's gonna be implemented. But so far there are already lots of metrics that you can use here, for example in the bot statistics. And yeah, it's really hot here. So this data you use, it can tell you a lot. So you can actually export it to CSV format and to further analyze the data in the Excel file, where you can actually, for example, calculate I don't know, the average return, but actually the average return is the thing that you can actually see here. That's here, average daily return. But you can I mean, you can extract the data, like to say the average weekly return, monthly return, like the average volatility. You can even calculate the Sharpe ratio, sometimes the Sortino ratio. I mean, lots of valuable metrics that are coming from the traditional finance markets. And as of now, we show you the data that you really need to see whether or not your bots bring you the most out of the market, because the bots, they do not know about the direction, like the future direction of the market. That's why it really makes sense to show the results in the bot profit as of now, because you want to see whether the performance of your bots is the one that satisfies you or not, right? Because adding this new metric that would show you the aggregate investment change, of course it's going to bring lots of value, but some traders may get lost because they will think that that's the fault of our bots, that for example the aggregate investment change is negative whereas the bot profit is positive, and some traders can get lost here. That's why we are still working on how to implement this new metric so that you guys won't get lost with this new metric. Since these are automated bots, it really makes sense to see their performance in the profit generated as they capture these market swings, this micro buy and micro sell opportunities. And the bots, they are completely indifferent towards the price direction. You see that they can actually make money on the rising, on the sideways, and on the falling markets, right? It's just that the value change of the base currency is something that we cannot predict, right? But this still affects the performance of our trades, right? And that's why you sometimes can get lost saying that, oh, you gave me my like minus 26% in the 0x to Bitcoin. That's your fault, Bitsgap. But that's actually not. The thing about the automated bots is that you only need to look at the bot profit to see whether or not they really bring you that amount of money that you want them to bring you. And the investment change, which is the column that gives you the final result, taking into account not just the bot profit, but the value change of the base currency, which by the way constantly changes, because as the price falls, it buys more, as the price rises, it sells it. So that's why you see that there is a changing amount of base currency right now in open orders, which all the time affects the investment change. So that's why it's not really fair to say that Bitsgap is the one to blame for if you see the negative change in the investment change column. It's just that you were at the wrong market timing. Like for example here, like I mean the purpose of this trade for me was just to take advantage of the falling market, to use my Bitcoins to buy the 0x, because I wanted to accumulate 0x on this downfall for my hodl strategy. But if you were trading this just for the speculation purposes, and you want to see an investment change positive, then that's not the blame of Bitsgap, it's the market timing. I mean, you were wrong entering the market at that time when it was falling, right? Like the thing about the bots we have is that the S bot is for the sideways market. So if you are if you have enough skills, like fundamental and technical analysis skills and a bit of luck, and you were lucky enough to predict with all these tools that there's going to be a sideways market formation, then the S bot would bring you a heck of a lot on this sideways market. Whereas the rest would stay away from the market, or they would be delta neutral, like zero return on the sideways market. You would make money on this sideways market, and thanks to the S bot, and thanks to the classic bot which you use when you expect the market to rise heavily. And this is when the classic bot will bring you more returns than the S bot. Fully automated, 24/7, no need to monitor the market like every second. I mean, just 3 times a week probably, just to make sure that the settings are still comply with your risk management and the market conditions. So 3 times per week, it's that many times you need to check the activity of your bots, and that's it. I mean, the purpose of the bots is to bring you returns daily, automatically, so that you spend less time monitoring the market, because the bot can trade for you. Even when the market rises heavily, it can capture this momentum thanks to the trading up instrument that we have here. So yeah, well, but I explain more these things in the dedicated webcast just to the automated bots. So that's gonna be probably next week, I assume. So as of today, we covered top questions that we selected based on the emails and messages that you sent us. And thanks a lot for these valuable questions. Yeah, it's on this to implement how it is. Yeah, so I mean, that's not the only one QA session that you can expect. I mean, I think we will have more QA sessions like that, or maybe we will split the duration of the webcast so that, for example, 40 minutes of valuable information on how to use the platform, some use cases, key takeaways, and the last 20 minutes just to spend on the QA session, just to give you an update on our roadmap, current development, and when to expect new product. And basically, sometimes, by the way, we have dedicated groups of testers, and you can actually jump into these groups so that you could be the first to test new products that the rest haven't seen yet. That was the case for the combo bot. Like 3 months ago, we had this group of 100 people from the community trading these bots, taking the risk on their own, right? Because it was still in the development stage, and of course some minor errors could occur. So that's on the side of traders to take that risk. So if you want to join this group of dedicated testers, that can be possible. Like as of now, I'm not sure if we selected any testers in the closed groups, but I think that's something that I could ask for you guys, if that would be interesting for you. Is it interesting for you to join the group of testers to test the products that we are working on right now? If yes, then you can always write to the support, and they will tell you whether or not we have active groups right now or something. Or stay tuned, watch these QA sessions, and I will update you on that. Yeah, I see the overwhelming response that you want to join the group of testers. That's cool. That's really cool. So yeah, I expect that there will be an opportunity for that, for sure. yeah, so basically that's it for today. Really appreciate your time, really appreciate your input and dedication as always, because I mean, you spent an hour of your life with me, right? And that's for me, that means a lot. And I spent my hour on you to bring you more clarity with regards to the roadmap, the future products, current development things, and also we discussed some features related to trading and my experience covered as well. So yeah, appreciate a lot. Never take your time for granted. I always make sure to bring you the utmost experience, and I want to make sure that you get the most out of this QA and webinar sessions. So if you feel like there are still some questions that you want me to answer, then you can still send them to us so we could collect top interesting questions for the next QA session or for the next webcast. If I feel like there is a space in the next webcast to discuss some questions that you guys asked in advance. And you can always ask your questions in the comment section below the YouTube video, of course, in the support, and in the social networks where you can find Bitsgap present. So once again, thanks a lot, appreciate, and see you next time. Let me find the stop button. Yeah, so see you next time.